Have you ever found yourself in a heated argument, feeling like you're just one thread away from exploding? It could be a tense meeting at work, a fiery debate with a loved one, or even an endless back and forth on social media. We've all been there. But pause for a moment, because I have a question for you. What if there were a way to resolve conflict without yelling, without throwing punches, without even saying a word? Would you want to know how? This is where the 10 Stoic strategies come in. Drawn from the timeless wisdom of great thinkers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, these techniques not only help you resolve conflict, but do so with calm, grace, and unwavering confidence. Imagine no longer feeling the need to control everything, no longer reacting in anger, but instead mastering absolute self-control. These strategies require patience and practice, but the rewards? Inner peace, a more effective approach to problem solving, and relationships transformed in remarkable ways. So, are you ready to uncover the secrets of 10 Stoic strategies to defeat your enemies without lifting a finger? Hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, because you won't want to miss these timeless lessons. Remember, the most important battle isn't with others, it's with your own mind. Let's begin. Strategy number 1. Delve into the depths of your adversary. Imagine standing on the edge of a raging river, its surface foaming with whitecaps, its current fierce and unpredictable. A wise person wouldn't rush in. They pause, step back, and study the flow, wondering what lies beneath the noisy turbulence. This is the Stoic approach to conflict. The enemy may seem like the roaring river, loud and forceful, but beneath the surface lies hidden currents that few take the time to understand. A Stoic dives deep, seeking the root cause rather than being swept away by the noise above. Take the story of Lisa, a team leader managing a critical project. Recently, she'd been clashing with Dan, a colleague who frequently criticized her ideas during meetings. The tension between them seemed to escalate with every interaction. Dan's constant objections and pointed remarks left Lisa feeling frustrated and defensive. Initially, she wanted to fire back, to defend her position. But instead of reacting impulsively, she paused, took a deep breath, and asked herself, what's really driving Dan's behavior? Lisa decided to approach the situation differently. Rather than seeing Dan as an adversary, she sought to understand his perspective. Reflecting on his actions and words, she realized that Dan's hostility wasn't just about her ideas. It stemmed from his concern over his team's role in the project. Dan feared that her plan would diminish the importance of his department within the company. Instead of retaliating, Lisa addressed the deeper issue. She adjusted her proposal to highlight the crucial contributions of Dan's team to the project's success. This shift not only eased the tension, but also turned Dan into an ally. Their collaboration improved significantly, and Lisa discovered the transformative power of understanding the root cause of a conflict. Lisa's story illustrates that conflicts often stem from deeper layers, unmet needs, hidden fears, or unresolved past frustrations. By separating yourself from immediate emotions and digging into the root cause, you gain insight not only into the other person, but also into yourself. One effective approach is to take a step back and act as an observer. View the situation objectively without letting your emotions take over. Ask yourself, what are they truly concerned about? What brought them to this point? By doing this, you can uncover real concerns, underlying fears, and even opportunities for common ground. Remember, a raging river isn't always as dangerous as it appears. When you understand the currents beneath, you can navigate through it without struggle or resistance. In seeking understanding and resolution, both you and your counterpart can emerge wiser and more grounded. As Stoic philosophy emphasizes, it's not the events themselves, but our perception of them that disturbs us. Replace reaction with understanding, and you'll transform challenges into opportunities for growth and learning. Number 2, choose your battles wisely. In life, conflicts and disagreements are inevitable. From minor arguments within the family to heated disputes at work or on social media, every interaction can turn into a battlefield. But ask yourself, is it really worth engaging in every conflict? The Stoics, with their timeless wisdom, remind us that not every battle requires our full attention. One of the most valuable strategies in Stoic philosophy is to choose your battles wisely. Take, for instance, the story of my friend, Sam. One day, Sam was waiting in line at the grocery store when a man cut in front of him. His initial reaction was to confront the man, but then he paused and asked himself, is this confrontation really worth it? Or is this just a minor inconvenience I can let go of to conserve my energy for more important things? After a brief moment of reflection, Sam decided to let it go. The result? He left the store feeling calm and unbothered, instead of weighed down by unnecessary conflict. Seneca once said, "The best remedy for anger is delay." Learning to pause and reflect before reacting can save you from impulsive decisions. Like Sam, taking just a few seconds to assess the situation can prevent you from being drawn into unnecessary confrontations. This is the power of choosing your battles wisely. Not all conflicts hold the same weight. Epictetus famously said, "It is not events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretations of them." In another instance, Sam faced a disagreement with a colleague over the division of tasks in a team project. At first, he felt compelled to defend his stance, but then questioned, does this really impact my core values or my integrity? Or is it just a minor disagreement we can resolve later? With this perspective, Sam chose to step back and find a compromise, allowing the team to work more cohesively without escalating the conflict. Marcus Aurelius advised that sometimes the best course of action is no action at all. He emphasized the power of silence and letting go. In one situation, Sam was publicly criticized by a co-worker during a meeting. Instead of retaliating immediately, he remained silent and listened. Later, he addressed the issue privately with the co-worker, resolving the tension calmly. This approach not only improved their working relationship, but also earned Sam respect from others in the room. Choosing your battles wisely doesn't mean avoiding or running away from conflict. It's a smart way to conserve your energy, focus on what truly matters, and protect your inner peace. Remember, you don't need to win every argument. True victory lies in maintaining your calm and clarity, even in the most challenging situations. By practicing this Stoic strategy, like Sam, you'll learn to navigate conflicts more effectively without being drawn into meaningless battles. Life is a series of choices, and choosing the right battles will help you move further along your journey with focus and purpose. Number 3, speak with calm and clarity. Imagine yourself standing in the middle of a heated confrontation where every word could ignite an even bigger fire. Instead of throwing sharp words at your opponent, you choose the approach of the Stoics, calm, clear, and wise. This isn't weakness. It's a powerful strategy to transform conflict into constructive dialogue. Take the story of James, a team leader at a tech company who often dealt with a colleague who consistently missed deadlines. Instead of jumping straight to accusations, James decided to apply Stoic tactics. First, he took the time to actively listen to his colleagues' challenges. While they explained, James maintained eye contact nodded occasionally, and ensured his body language communicated that he genuinely cared about what was being said. This simple act of listening reduced tension and created a safe space for open discussion. A crucial part of Stoic communication is using non-blaming language. Instead of saying, "You always miss deadlines and it's unacceptable," James opted for, "I feel pressured when projects aren't completed on time. How can we work together to improve this?" This approach not only diffused defensiveness, but also encouraged collaboration toward a solution. In such scenarios, being firm yet calm is essential. Speaking clearly doesn't mean speaking louder or overpowering the other person. James maintained a steady tone, focused on addressing the issue, and avoided personal attacks. He understood that insults would only worsen the situation. Another hallmark of Stoic communication is prioritizing solutions over victories. James asked, "What steps can we take to ensure the next deadline is met?" This approach fostered a sense of teamwork and redirected the conversation toward positive outcomes. James also made sure to validate his colleagues' feelings, even if he didn't fully agree. Phrases like, "I understand this situation has been stressful for you," helped establish a connection and eased tension. It made his colleague feel heard and respected. The final key is to be patient with yourself. Not every conversation will go perfectly, and mistakes are inevitable. If James stumbled, he was ready to apologize and refine his approach, knowing that practicing calm and clear communication is a lifelong skill. Speaking with calm and clarity isn't just about resolving conflicts effectively. It's about building relationships rooted in respect and trust. As you practice this skill, you'll find that you not only master conversations, but also gain greater control over yourself. Number 4, seek the shared path. Imagine two friends, John and Michael, planning a long-awaited class reunion. At first, their ideas couldn't be more different. John envisions a fancy dinner at an upscale restaurant, while Michael suggests a casual outdoor picnic. Their disagreement quickly escalates into frustration, with each firmly believing their idea is the best. But instead of allowing the conflict to fester, they decide to take a new approach, seeking the shared path. This approach, inspired by Stoic philosophy, encourages us to find common ground in moments of disagreement. It's not about abandoning personal views, but recognizing that beneath surface-level differences, there are often shared values and goals that can bring people together. First, John and Michael shifted their perspective from me to us. They stopped focusing on defending their individual ideas and started thinking about their shared objective. The question was no longer who's right, but what do we both truly want from this reunion? They realized their common goal was to create a welcoming environment where old classmates could reconnect, reminisce, and enjoy each other's company. Next, they delved deeper to uncover their underlying needs. For John, the upscale setting represented thoughtfulness and hospitality. For Michael, the picnic symbolized warmth and a relaxed atmosphere. By understanding these motivations, they stopped seeing each other's ideas as obstacles and began viewing them as complementary elements of a larger vision. From there, they identified shared values. Both agreed that their friends' comfort and enjoyment were paramount. These shared principles became their guiding compass, leading them to a compromise, hosting the reunion at a beautiful outdoor venue that offered both casual charm and thoughtful amenities. Finding the shared path wasn't easy. They started small, agreeing on the date, guest list, and budget, and gradually built trust and momentum. These small wins paved the way for tackling more significant challenges together. Stoic philosophy teaches us that seeking the shared path is more than just a strategy for resolving conflict. It's a framework for building lasting relationships. By moving from confrontation to collaboration, you and the other person can become allies, working toward mutual goals. The key is patience and a willingness to see beyond temporary disagreements, because every step toward cooperation is a step away from confrontation. When John and Michael looked back on their successful reunion, they realized that their initial differences had led to an event far more special than either of their original ideas alone. The lesson here is simple. When you seek the shared path, you not only resolve conflict, but also lay the groundwork for deeper understanding and harmony. As the Stoics remind us, those who rise together, guided by the light of shared values and goals, reach the summit of true understanding. Before we move on to the next strategy, if you're liking the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel with the bell so you don't miss out on future videos. And if you enjoy this kind of content as much as I do, comment, "I love this video." Let's keep learning. Number 5, offer empathy. Imagine you're standing in line at a busy coffee shop on a hectic morning. Ahead of you is a customer visibly frustrated, muttering complaints about the slow service. Their irritation creates a tense atmosphere, and you feel a slight pang of annoyance yourself, perhaps even a bit defensive for the barista. The typical reaction might be to get annoyed or even say something to diffuse the situation. But according to Stoic philosophy, a more effective approach is to pause, seek understanding, and show empathy. Empathy isn't about agreeing with or excusing negative behavior. It's a powerful tool for fostering understanding and diffusing tension. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that everyone is fighting battles we cannot see. Empathy allows us to look beyond surface emotions and approach the root cause of someone's behavior. Start by shifting your perspective. Instead of focusing on the customer's anger, ask yourself, what might be going on in their day that's causing them to act this way? Perhaps they're running late for work, or they're overwhelmed by a personal issue. By reframing the situation, you not only ease your own frustration, but also create an opportunity for connection. Pay attention to what's unsaid. Notice how they grip their bag tightly, their voice quivers slightly, or their breathing is shallow. These subtle cues often reveal deeper stresses. Instead of reacting, take a moment to genuinely listen with curiosity and patience. Next, respond with understanding. A simple statement like, "It seems like you're having a tough morning. I can see how that might be frustrating," can instantly de-escalate tension. You don't need to agree with their behavior, but acknowledging their emotions can pave the way for a more constructive interaction. Empathy also involves looking for the root cause. Their frustration with the coffee delay might stem from a larger issue they're grappling with, pressure at work or unresolved personal stress. While empathy might not immediately resolve the conflict, it helps you approach the situation with a calmer, clearer mind. It's important to remember that empathy doesn't mean sacrificing your values or tolerating unacceptable behavior. It's about stepping into someone else's shoes to gain a deeper understanding of their perspective without compromising your own boundaries. Empathy is a bridge. It connects but does not capitulate. Back to the coffee shop. Instead of engaging in conflict, you could choose to maintain your calm, show understanding, or even offer a kind word to the barista who's trying their best. This small gesture not only diffuses the tension, but also demonstrates to others that there are gentler, more effective ways to handle challenges. When you practice empathy in everyday situations like this, you're not just resolving conflicts, you're cultivating peace and fostering meaningful connections. Remember, Empathy is a gift you can give without losing anything, but it has the power to change how you and others see the world. Number 6. Embrace the art of compromise. Imagine you're trying to convince a friend to go along with your weekend plans instead of theirs. The debate becomes heated, with both of you standing firm as if no other solution exists. In this moment, you're like someone trying to bend a stubborn oak tree against the wind, straining not only the tree, but also yourself. Stoic philosophy offers another way. Instead of forcing the wind or the oak to yield, it teaches us to find harmony, seek common ground, and adapt with flexibility. Rigidity is rarely the path to sustainable solutions. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Accept things as they are, not as you wish they were." This is the essence of compromise, aiming for balance rather than total victory. First, shift your perspective from me to us. Reframe disagreements as problems to solve together rather than battles to win. When you approach conflict as a collaborative effort, you create space for creative and harmonious solutions. For instance, if you and a colleague disagree on how to approach a project, instead of proving your point, ask, "What can we do to achieve our shared goal?" This not only reduces tension, but also fosters teamwork. Next, identify long-term goals. In many disputes, both sides often seek similar outcomes: fairness, efficiency, or a positive result. Focus on these shared values. They act as a compass, guiding you toward resolution, even when surface-level disagreements seem insurmountable. Compromise also requires prioritization. Not every aspect of a conflict is equally important. Distinguish between what you need and what you want. For example, when organizing a family gathering, you might prioritize ensuring everyone feels comfortable, but let go of insisting on your favorite dish. By being willing to forego less critical elements, you can keep attention on the bigger picture. Another crucial component is seeking win-win solutions. Imagine you and a roommate disagree on how to divide time in the living room. Instead of arguing over who's right, propose a schedule that feels fair to both of you. This approach not only reduces friction, but also fosters mutual respect. Finally, compromise requires patience and flexibility. Effective solutions don't always emerge immediately. Sometimes you'll need to test, adjust, and revisit agreements as circumstances change. Don't view compromise as a loss. Instead, see it as an art form that brings both sides closer to harmony. Remember, compromise doesn't mean abandoning your principles. Instead, it shows strength and a willingness to adapt for the greater good. Like the wind and the oak tree, this dynamic balance allows both to coexist and thrive, bringing peace and harmony to any relationship. Number 7. Seek external aid without shame. Imagine trying to untangle a pair of headphones that's been sitting in your pocket for days, hopelessly knotted. No matter how patient or careful you are, every tug seems to tighten the knots further instead of loosening them. Sometimes unraveling the mess alone just isn't possible, and that's when you need an extra pair of hands. Similarly, in complicated conflicts or disagreements, seeking external help isn't a sign of weakness, it's an act of wisdom. Stoicism teaches us that the best way forward in some situations is to involve a neutral third party. Take, for instance, a workplace project where you and a colleague can't agree on the direction to take. Inviting a mediator or advisor into the conversation can shed light on the issue. Their role isn't to take sides, but to ensure both parties are heard and their concerns validated. This creates a safe space for meaningful dialogue, free from the fog of heightened emotions. A skilled mediator can help untangle emotional knots, those deep frustrations and misunderstandings that often cloud our communication. They allow each side to not just hear, but truly understand the other's perspective. As the saying goes, sometimes you need to step back to see the bigger picture. Seeking such help not only resolves the immediate conflict, but equips you with valuable tools for managing future disagreements. External support also acts as a bridge to close gaps in understanding. A thoughtful mediator doesn't just diffuse tension, they guide discussions toward cooperative solutions. By identifying and focusing on shared goals, they help participants build a foundation of trust and mutual respect. Remember, asking for help isn't an admission of failure. On the contrary, it's a display of strength. It shows you have the courage to acknowledge your limits and the wisdom to seek solutions instead of merely defending your stance. In the light of Stoic philosophy, seeking support reflects self-awareness and a commitment to growth. So, the next time you find yourself caught in a web of conflict, remember that asking for help doesn't diminish you. In fact, it strengthens you. With the right assistance, you won't just untangle the headphone cord of disputes. You'll pave a clearer path forward, built on understanding, collaboration, and a renewed sense of purpose. Number 8, forgiveness. Imagine you're dragging a massive suitcase through the airport runway, packed to the brim with heavy items from past trips, mistakes, hurts, and harsh words you've held on to for years. Every step slows you down, and every attempt to navigate a corner feels like the suitcase is holding you back. That's the weight of resentment. It not only tires you out, but also prevents you from moving forward with ease. But think about this. What if you decided to open that suitcase, remove the unnecessary baggage, and leave it behind? That's the essence of forgiveness. Stoic philosophy emphasizes that forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. As Seneca wisely said, the one who seeks revenge lives with an unhealed wound. Holding on to anger doesn't punish the other person, it only harms you. A friend of mine, Jack, carried resentment for years toward a former co-worker whose comments cost him a promotion. But even Jack admitted that it wasn't the co-worker suffering, it was him, weighed down by those unresolved feelings. The first step in the journey to forgiveness is shifting focus from them to you. Jack realized that holding on to his resentment wasn't affecting his co-worker, but was keeping him stuck in a loop of negative emotions. He began to prioritize his mental and emotional health. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting what happened, but it does mean refusing to let it drain your energy any longer. Next, change your perspective on the situation. Jack began to re-evaluate the incident from a broader view. Instead of fixating on his co-worker's fault, he asked himself if workplace pressures might have influenced their behavior. This didn't excuse their actions, but it helped Jack reduce the emotional toll and recognize that no one is without flaws. Finally, Jack learned to let go. He didn't erase the lessons the situation had taught him, but he chose not to let them anchor his emotions any longer. Each day he focused on living in the present rather than being stuck in the past. Forgiveness isn't a one-time act, it's an ongoing journey. Jack used meditation and journaling to remind himself that forgiveness was a gift he gave himself. By releasing this burden, he felt lighter, not just emotionally, but in how he approached new challenges. As Stoic philosophy reminds us, forgiveness isn't weakness, it's strength. It's a declaration that you refuse to let negative emotions dictate your life. So imagine setting that heavy suitcase down, walking forward with lighter shoulders, and embracing an open future. Forgiveness doesn't just free you from the past, it brings peace and freedom to your heart. Number 9. Growth from ashes of conflict. Have you ever felt like every conflict leaves you completely drained? Like it strips away all your energy, leaving you with nothing but frustration and a sense of hopelessness? Conflict, whether big or small, can break us down. But the most painful part is feeling stuck, unable to move forward. Stoic philosophy offers us a new perspective. Conflicts aren't meant to crush you. They're meant to help you grow. Take the story of David, a friend of mine. David went through a tough time at work. He constantly felt left out, and arguments with co-workers only left him more exhausted. One day, after yet another tense meeting, David decided to shift his perspective. Instead of focusing on what others were doing wrong, he asked himself, how did I react? Why did this situation upset me so much? David realized that much of his anger stemmed from feeling unacknowledged. But instead of letting his emotions control him, he chose to use the conflict as a learning opportunity. He began practicing mindfulness, taking deep breaths to prevent anger from clouding his judgment. Most importantly, he shifted from criticizing to asking questions. Instead of confronting his co-workers with blame, he asked, "What can we do to improve this situation?" David didn't stop there. He sought advice from a mentor, someone who helped him see the conflict from a different perspective. With guidance, he realized that disagreements didn't have to be roadblocks. They could be stepping stones to better communication and stronger relationships. As Stoic philosophy teaches us, growth begins with the courage to confront ourselves. Of course, progress wasn't always linear. There were days when David felt like he was backsliding, but instead of giving up, he chose to learn from those setbacks. Each small step, every tiny improvement, was proof that he was becoming stronger. Growth doesn't come from moments of ease. It comes from how you face and overcome adversity. Like David, you too can transform conflict into a forge for self-improvement. Stoic philosophy reminds us that even our most painful moments can become opportunities to rise stronger and more resilient. Remember, you're not just surviving conflict. You can rise from it, like a phoenix from the ashes, with newfound confidence and strength. Number 10, setting boundaries. Have you ever felt someone crossing your personal boundaries? Maybe it's a colleague who constantly imposes their tasks on you, a friend who expects you to agree with everything, or even a family member with never-ending demands. These situations can drain your energy and sometimes make you question whether you even have the right to set limits. The truth is, not only do you have the right, but you also have the responsibility to protect yourself. Think about a time you had to work with a colleague like Jake. Jake frequently asked you to stay late to finish his part of the workload without considering your schedule. At first you agreed, thinking it might improve your working relationship. But soon you realized that every yes added more pressure and took away time for yourself. One evening, after missing your family dinner for the third time in a row, you knew it was time for a change. So, how do you set boundaries? First, understand your values and needs. What truly matters to you? Which behaviors make you feel taken advantage of? In your situation with Jake, you realized that time with your family and your mental health were non-negotiable. Next, communicate your boundaries clearly and respectfully. You decide to have a conversation with Jake. Without blaming or accusing, you use I statements to express how you feel. Jake, I understand work can be overwhelming, but working overtime consistently has been affecting my time with my family. I want to collaborate effectively, but I need to prioritize my health and family. This approach protects your boundaries while maintaining the relationship. Consistency is key. Once you set your boundaries, stand by them. Don't let guilt or fear of disappointing others make you waver. Jake might try to persuade you a few more times, but your firm stance will show him that your boundaries are non-negotiable. Prepare for resistance. Not everyone will easily accept your boundaries, and Jake may push back. But his resistance isn't a reason for you to give in. Remind yourself that your boundaries are an expression of self-respect and are necessary to create a space where you can thrive. Setting boundaries doesn't just safeguard your mental well-being, it also fosters healthier relationships. Instead of building walls, you create a space for transparent communication where everyone understands and respects each other. Boundaries aren't selfish, they are acts of self-love. So next time you feel someone stepping over your limits, remember that you have the right to say no, and that doesn't make you weak, it makes you strong. Your boundaries not only protect you, but also teach others how to respect you, and that's the greatest gift you can give yourself. I would love to hear about your journey and triumphs. Please hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and leave a comment below to share your story, your successes, and even the challenges you've overcome. If you're not sure what to comment, just write "I beat them" to show that you've completed this session. Your engagement helps this community grow toward wisdom and the art of turning every challenge into an opportunity. I'll leave 2 more videos here so you can continue learning and growing on your personal development journey. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. If you are new here, please like the video and subscribe. Statistics show that only 15% of my audience is subscribed to the channel, so if this content has helped you in any way, I ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell.